After we got to the orphanage, we expected things to be a little better. We expected to not be abused as much, and obviously we weren't abused to the same degree as my biological parents were abusing us, but we were still being abused. We were being taken care of by people that didn't care about us. They were there to collect a paycheck weekly, and that's all that mattered to them. There were lots of educators that if you weren't learning at their pace that they wanted you to, they would abuse you a lot of the time. They would take a rubber jumping rope and beat you with it until you learned the alphabet or learned the multiplication table or whatever it was that you were learning that day. One time, I think I was maybe 4th or 5th grade, I don't actually know when. It was sometime in that orphanage period. I was babysitting one of my teacher's kids and I had earned some money. And I was so excited because I finally had some money, and I was like, I'm gonna go buy some cookies and I'm gonna go share them with my siblings. And I did that. So I went in and got the cookies. I earned 5 lei, by the way, which 5 lei is essentially like 50 cents here. So, but it bought us cookies. So I went and got those cookies, and I went to the younger orphanage. I didn't knock on the classroom door or anything. I just walked in. I walked into my little brother's classroom, and my little brother is handicapped. He has severe fetal alcohol syndrome, so he has a severe learning disability. So I walked into his classroom and I was looking for my little brother, and then I saw the teacher, and she had him by the bathroom door, and she had put his hand in between the door and the frame, and she slammed the door in his hand. Oh, I freaked out. The second I saw that, I dropped the cookies and I went over there, and it took everything in me to just absolutely just not break down. But I ran to my little brother, just yanked him out of that situation, and just all the rage in me just came out, and I took all of that rage and took it out on that teacher, and I started hitting her. And I basically did the same thing my biological did to me. I grabbed her by the hair and I yanked her and I smacked her a lot, and yelling at her constantly and telling her that it wasn't okay. She abused my little brother, and I kept telling her, I was like, this is not okay. You know that he's handicapped. Why are you abusing him? And technically I didn't know what handicapped was. I just knew that he was different from everyone else, and I wanted people to treat him like he was normal. And so it broke my heart to see that teacher abuse him because he wasn't learning the same pace as the other kids. After I had my absolute insane emotional outburst with that teacher, I took my brother and I took him to the older orphanage, which is where the orphanage director was, and he was in my school building, and he was my godfather, and so I kind of had protective rights from him. And so I took my little brother to him, and I told him exactly what happened, showed him his fingers and everything, and they were just swollen and bleeding, and they just looked terrible. The orphanage director said, walk with me. And so we walked the 1/4 mile back to the younger orphanage, and we walked into that classroom again. And the teacher saw me, saw the orphanage director, saw my brother, and she immediately started blaming me for what just happened. And the orphanage director just raised his hand, made her stop talking, and then just hit her really, really hard, just slapped her across the face really hard, and told her, he said, get out. He said, I'm not going to let anyone here abuse these kids anymore. And so he eventually changed all of the educators. We had new educators. I think it was an insane process, a hiring process for people to be able to work there, because no one was allowed to hit the kids anymore. And the director made it clear to the educators. He said, I want all of these kids to come to me and tell me if they're being abused. Sometimes these educators would threaten us and say, if you tell the principal that I hate you, I will abuse you even more. And some kids didn't go and report the abuse, but me being me, I just didn't care, and I would fight back with the educators, and I would go and report it to the principal, and so then he would take action towards it and make things better. We expected to get away from the abuse, but we weren't really getting away from it, and I just kept running away, and I didn't see it as running away. I just saw it as refuge for myself. I saw it as, I need to clear my mind, I need to get my thoughts together, I need to figure out what I want to do with my life instead of being hit constantly and being abused constantly. And I would spend a lot of time in forests, and I would just go and explore neighborhoods, and I would explore things, and I would find old people all the time that needed help, and I would just go help them in their gardens because I literally had nothing better to do. Most of the time it was during the summertime, and we didn't have school, and we were just stuck at the orphanage all summer long, and I would just have to make an appearance for dinner time and then sleep there. And so that's exactly what I did. I would eat breakfast, I would leave all day long, go find old people to hang out with, and then come back to the orphanage at nighttime, trying to kind of figure out what I wanted in my own life. And all those 6 years in the orphanage, I constantly prayed for a mom. I needed a good example in my life. I needed a mom in my life.